The teacher's mastery of content knowledge and its interconnectedness within and across curriculum areas, coupled with a sound and critical understanding of the application of theories and principles of teaching and learning is really important. To fulfill this, effective utilization of the teaching learning resources, ICT, and the curriculum will be crucial in achieving the ultimate goal of the teaching learning process. The main focus of this video is to highlight domains 1 and 4 of the PPSA.
We, Group 4, have observed the grade 6 star class of our resource teacher, Mrs. Helen M. Rivera at Bayambang Central School. As field study observers, we noticed and observed the different developmentally appropriate principles, strategies, and techniques of Mrs. Rivera in teaching. She utilized different classroom routines, communication strategies, and technologies to produce effective and high-quality learning outcomes that will encourage students' active participation and help them develop their higher-order thinking skills. Moreover, Mrs. Rivera has organized, clearly planned, and prepared the lesson effectively as she discussed the lesson about mathematics, specifically solving rates, bases, and percentages.
The observation report explores at several areas of the curriculum in DepEd schools, laboratory integrated schools. It covers the following curricula: the recommended curriculum with an emphasis on K-12 science and other skills, written curriculum which can be found in textbooks like grade 6 mathematics, the thought curriculum which is the lesson plan done by Mrs. Rivera's discussion, the assessed curriculum which uses resources like educational software and audio-visual aids to assess learning mastery, the learned curriculum which reflects the knowledge and skills that students have acquired, and the hidden curriculum which involves implicit lessons like teacher-student interaction and values and beliefs learned.
In the second part, it emphasizes curriculum implementation and translation into a daily lesson to meet the curriculum requirements, highlighting behavioral objectives, content, teaching and learning methods, and assessment evaluation. This demonstrates a systematic and engaging method of implementing the curriculum. In the last part, the focus is on lesson plan, components, and resource use, including ICT. We observed that throughout the lesson phase, ICT resources such as PowerPoint presentations, laptops, and televisions were consistently utilized to support the teaching learning process. In addition, non-ICT resources like chalkboards were also used. This demonstrates that integrating technology into the discussion enhances the learning process and makes it more comprehensive and engaging.
In line with Domain 1, which is Content and Pedagogy, the learning principles applied by Mrs. Rivera were appropriate to the nature of the learners and the learning conditions. She presents the learning objectives before starting the discussion. Also, student-centered was applied, wherein she lets the students learn on their own and with their help as facilitator. Further, she encourages the students to cooperate and participate in the discussion and activities. Lastly, students apply their learning in a real-world setting. In addition, during our observation, there were some learners who were passive. For these reasons, some of them are reluctant or hesitate to share their ideas about the topic. There are some students who are just listening but not actively participating. However, Mrs. Rivera wants the full cooperation of the students, thus she's calling the students who are not raising their hands.
Moreover, the communication strategies used by Mrs. Rivera were appropriate for the learners. The way she communicates with the learners is appropriate, making it easy for them to understand what she is trying to say. Also, she uses language that is suitable for the level of the learners. Thus, it is evident that the students understood what the teacher was saying because they responded to the teacher. As future teachers, in order to facilitate meaningful learning, we would first try to create a cooperative and collaborative environment where students could share their thoughts and benefit from one another's knowledge. Secondly, offer exercises that take into account each learner's unique distinctions based on their different intelligence and learning styles. Finally, developing tactics that will boost students' motivation by clearly stating by goals and having them participate in self-evaluation.
Aligned with Domain 4, curriculum and planning DepEd continues to be constantly engaged in creating and improving curricula for public and laboratory schools. We discovered that there is such a curriculum in DepEd school laboratory schools by using the internet and conducting searches in order to develop high-quality education for students. DepEd works to develop curricula that are in line with national requirements.
Educational experiences can be effectively organized and can contribute to the attainment of objectives by making sure that they are contextualized or something that learners can relate to. Also, it is important that it focus on a specific skill that needs to be attained in each activity. Manageable and can capture students' interests are also essential so that the intended learning outcomes will be effectively attained by the learners. As we evaluate and compare the resources with the actual resources utilized in the classroom, we can say that they were the same and characterized as beneficial or useful in attaining the intended learning outcome or the objectives of the lesson. It also indicated in both resources the effectiveness and relevance of the objectives to the activities in the teaching-learning process.
Among the principles of learning, the most important is that learning is a cooperative and collaborative process, and learning is enhanced in an atmosphere of cooperation and collaboration. Collaboration among the students is important as it embraces the diversity of the students, improves their communication and collaborative skills, and helps them merge a lot of ideas into one collective and shared idea. Furthermore, through collaboration, students will have a good relationship with their classmates. Moreover, the insights that we learn from the class activities that we have observed are that teaching is fulfilling when one knows that the kids have grasped the lesson being taught. Learn more about kids by watching and listening to them with interest and surprise. Learning about their hobbies, character traits, things that make them laugh or cry, and their knowledge and abilities is one of the reasons why teaching is rewarding.
As pre-service teachers, we will plan, manage, and implement a developmentally sequenced teaching and learning process to meet curriculum requirements by making sure that the intended learning outcomes of our lesson are relevant and congruent to the teaching aids and activities. Moreover, we will consider the nature of our learners so that they will effectively acquire the competencies they need to achieve as indicated in the curriculum. To set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with learning competencies, we must follow the 5 characteristics of good learning outcomes, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Through this, we would make specific and right goals, prepare measurable learning activities, have a realistic learning outcome that is relevant and useful for students, and lastly, it would be done in a specific period of time.